Masse for 6 minutes.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you to the witnesses. Maybe Ms. Chang, I can follow up on that. So you're asking for specifically similar to what we have in the new Canada-US-Mexico agreement or USMCA, NAFTA 2.0, whatever you want to call it, is actually to be written into the agreement. One of the problems we've had in the past is that when you've had environment, labor, outside the agreement, there are separate chapters that aren't enforceable. So is that what you're asking for, is to be written into the context of the agreement, so it's not like a satellite orbiting around that's independent and unenforceable?
Absolutely. If we think these things are important and important to Canadian workers and important to the workers in the countries that we are contracting with. So we want it part of the main agreement, and so that they're enforceable as well. So,
and we've focused on the environment and labor, and part of labor has also been child labor. Do you know if there's been any thought or there's been any consideration of having a separate chapter on child labor? I mean, that's one of the things that I think that sometimes gets overlooked at times. I'm just wondering whether at this point in time, especially with some of the countries we're dealing with here, whether having a separate agreement on child labor might bring more attention. I just throw that out there as a possibility.
Well, you know, if it's something that we are concerned about and think that it might have, that there might be stronger to have a separate chapter on child labor, then I think that that's a good idea to do that. Definitely, whatever protections we can put in place as we want to have these agreements with these with the Indo-Pacific countries. I think whatever is strongest in terms of making sure that workers there are protected, I think that would be a good idea.
Okay. And if I can follow up as well, and perhaps, I don't know, Ms. Kwan or Ms. Chang, one of you two of you, with regards to an issue I've raised, even within our own departments, didn't really have a good answer, in my opinion, for it, is about the sale in the agreements related to arms manufacturing. Some of these countries have some issues with regards to their civilian populations and also the use, and I don't like where some of Canada's small arms and also larger arms have actually gone. And I'm wondering whether there's been any thought with regards to that. And I've been trying to determine where in the process to flag this as we go down this road as an issue. It doesn't appear to be one that comes up independently. Do you know if any thought's been given to that? I'm really interested in that.
Elizabeth, do you want to go ahead with that?
Sure. Thank you for your question. I would say specifically, as far as I know, and I don't believe that any of our trade agreements actually kind of have that specific mention of arms or arms production. I do know that if I could say that sometimes, not arms production necessarily, and I'm I'm adding a little bit here, that sometimes the production of goods get, how shall I say, they get laundered, right? They, the country that has, high emissions or poor labor standards would then, kind of export to another country that is acceptable under our rules, our trade agreements, and that sort of thing. So again, it is something that I think that Canada is very serious about in all those respects. And I think that whether it's arms or whether it's production of other things, that we have to be very diligent in terms of strong trade agreements, and we have to be able to follow up, monitor, and actually enforce when we see that something is not in compliance.
Great. And real quickly to Mr. David, with regards to, I was actually at the Stellantis announcement today, very good announcement. We've been after this for a while, and so it's really, really positive. Real quickly, at the end of it, we haven't talked much about battery recycling. And I think that's one of the things that there's an opportunity. Have you been involved in any of that, and any suggestions about how we could actually advance on battery recycling? That seems to be something that is missing from the equation of the whole plan right now.
And I can tell you, sir, that that has to be part of the equation. In my presentation, I have the full cycle from exploration to recycling. So for now, for us, the thing we know is to do the exploration, to produce the oxide and to produce the precursor for the battery people. So this is our field of expertise, but no doubt we need the full cycle here in Canada. So
I'd hate for us to become like we have been doing over plastics, exporting that to the Philippines and other places because of lax following of even treaties that we've signed. And I don't want to be a producer of batteries and then dumping them into third world countries again. We got to get in front of this, not trying to play catch up.
Fully agree.
Okay. Thank you, Madam Chair.